How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another ARK bonus, and today we're going to be discussing mid-game tames. The best ones, the ones that I prefer the most, and overall, yeah, their abilities, their, how I like to use them. Some of them are battle mounts, some of them are gatherers, and some of them are just, plain fun to have, because why not? Now, this list, there's no particular order. There's no which order to tame these guys, and it's all the dudes behind me that we're going to be discussing. Very briefly, however, there's no particular order in which you should tame these guys. We're just going to discuss each one, what level you can get their saddle, and the best uses for them, as well as which ones you'll probably tame first, which ones you'll tame last. So, yeah, let's just hop right into it. So the first one of these dudes you'll probably tame, there's quite a few of them, but in my personal opinion, the first one you're probably going to tame is the Carno. And this Carno, this is an imprinted Carno left over. We lost almost all of our Carno army a while back, if you've been watching my Season 3. But an imprinted Carno, just look at how fast they go. Just look at that. It's absolutely insane just how fast they go. And the cool thing about the Carno, they have a couple attacks. They have their bite attack, and they have their right click attack. And that right click inflicts a bleed. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Now, it doesn't hit that hard, but combined with the Uranus roar, these guys are absolute powerhouses. Now, these guys, their saddles, you'll get them at level 46 for 21 engrams. They're 170 fiber, 320 hide, and 30 metal ingot. Not too bad at level 46. And the reason these guys will probably be the first ones you'll tame is because you can find them generally in quite a few places. If you're on the map, you can find these guys. They're practically everywhere. You can sometimes find them on the beaches, you can find them in the redwoods, you can find them on black sands, you'll find tons of them in the snow biome. Find a Uranus and you'll definitely find a bunch of Carnos. You'll find them on the mountains, you'll find them just outside of caves. Yeah, these guys are pretty common. Yeah, so and they can be pretty dang good bodyguards if you don't have a good bodyguard. Plus, you can tame these guys even before you have the saddle, and just have them, like I said, as a bodyguard. Now, they can get their butt kicked by larger creatures. However, that doesn't happen too often, but it does happen from time to time. So, yeah, with that being said, let's move on to our next creature, which is going to be the Chewback. Is probably going to be in my opinion, the next easiest one to tame. Would be the Baryonyx. Because the Baryonyx, here, let's look at their saddle. They're level 49, so they're higher up. 350 fiber, 225 hide, 25 metal ingot. But Baryonyx are amazing swimmers. They are your gateway to doing stuff underwater. Plus, they have this stun attack, which is absolutely amazing. Here, let's demonstrate. Look, now that shark is completely stunned and at our mercy. Now, the one downside of Baryonyx is that they can only eat fish meat. That is the only type of meat they will eat. So yeah, that is a downside. But a pro is that they have wicked good health regeneration. Just start force feeding them that fish meat. As long as they have fish meat in their inventory, their health regen is amazing. Plus, these guys, they can jump, and unlike the Carno, you can freely use a weapon. And with that being said, they are one of the best caving mounts. They're not good for all the caves, but for a majority of the caves. For the caves that you're going to be starting with, which you're probably not going to start doing caves until you're mid-game. Personally, I would not start doing caves until you have a Baryonyx, if you're playing solo. Now, if you're playing with friends, you can do caves before you have a Baryonyx. You can get, lower level game tames like, Sabertooths, Trikes, things like that. But if you're playing solo, don't do the caves until you have a Baryonyx, because they are that wicked awesome and amazing. Yeah, I just love these guys. Now, for the next one, the next one is actually, I would not try taming it until you have a Baryonyx, because you have to go into the swamp. Now, the Baryonyx, anywhere there's water, you can find a Baryonyx. It's not just in the swamp. They are found in the swamp, but then again, any river, any creek bed, there was actually a Baryonyx not that far up ahead, over there, earlier, that you can find a Baryonyx. But the next creature, I would not recommend, because it is only found in the swamp, and you need a Baryonyx to get to it, and that is the Beelzebufo, the giant prehistoric toad. Now these guys, they have an amazing jump, and when they swim, they don't lose stamina, which is pretty dang cool. And yeah, these guys are really cool. They're really useful, especially when you start hitting the swamp cave. If you go in just to the mouth of the swamp cave and you start using that tongue attack and kill the Meganeura, whenever you kill Meganeura, you get instant cementing paste if you kill them with this guy, which is pretty dang cool. Plus, you can't deny that hop. Now, it's not as good as a kangaroo's hop, but it's still a pretty dang cool hop. Now, these guys, their saddles, Beelzebufo, they take 5 cementing paste, which at level 40, 5 cementing paste. Come on, that's not that much. 95 fiber, 170 hide, and 30 wood. Not too bad. Yeah, but the fact that they only spawn in the swamps, or very close to the swamps, is why I recommend you not go for these guys until you have a Baryonyx, because Baryonyx, you can get the heck out of there before you get caproed. Whereas if you go and try to tame these guys on foot, yeah, you definitely have a high chance of being caproed. But yeah, they are pretty good. They don't have the best stats. This one's imprinted, and it's been leveled up quite a bit. See, that is not base melee, and you see all that XP it has. So, yeah, but frogs are pretty good for cementing paste and for getting around, but they do not have very good weights. Not as bad as things like Araneo and Arthropleura, but it is not that good. Now, my next recommendation is actually a redwood inhabitant. the Megaloceros, the moose. And that is because these guys, oh, one more thing about the frog. You can use a weapon off the back of a frog. Yeah. You can use a weapon off the back of the frog. At least until your chibi, crab chibi gets in the way. Now the Megaloceros, you can also use a weapon off the back of it. Again, until your chibi gets in the way. But these guys, they are fast. They can jump. And they gather a ton of thatch. And I mean a ton. They are one of the best thatch gatherers in the game. You will get encumbered. Now, they gather a decent amount of wood as well. So be mindful of that. But these guys are actually pretty dang good at gathering thatch. And that's why I really recommend these guys. Simply because of that feature. They're fast and they gather thatch. But that, in my opinion, that's pretty much their main use. This one right here, bred and imprinted, not the best Megaloceros. Needs work on the weight. Start out with pretty shabby weight, so you do have to work a little on them. But the ones that you want are the males, because the females have, all they are good at doing is running. They are faster than the males, but they have no attacks. Whereas the male, that's your only attack. But yeah, and these guys, you can find them in the snow biome, but from my experience, go to the edge of the redwoods. Try to pick them up with an Argent, which we'll be talking about Argents in just a second. But yeah, or bowl of them, knock them out, and yeah, just tame them up just right quick. So yeah, yeah, with that being said, let's move on to our next one, which is also a resident of the Redwoods, and that is, oh, and the, did I cover Megaloceros saddle? Megaloceros. Level 30. 110 fiber, 200 hide, 5 metal ingot. Now, this is a bit of an early game level, but the reason I am listing it as a mid-game is just because you have to go to dangerous places to get it. So that's why I'm labeling it as mid-game. But the next one that we're discussing is definitely a mid-game. It is wicked tanky, and it can dish out a beating, and that is the Megatherium. And these guys, oh my gosh, these guys are boss fight worthy. They are absolutely amazing. As my game freezes. Come on, game, unfreeze. This has already happened twice to me. There we go. Now this one, this is a freshly tamed one I found. It was a 150. I tamed it up right before we started the video. And they have not the best of stats when it's base. But then again, 150s usually don't. But Megatherium, they hit insanely hard. Let me head over here and find something to smack. Something that does not... Here, Dodo. There we go. And the cool thing about Megatherium is that... No, you don't. Now, you can equip a weapon on the back of a Megatherium, which is wicked awesome. And if I didn't have a chibi in the way, I would demonstrate. But my crab chibi is in the way. You know what? Because I need to get rid of that Ichthyornis. There we go. But these guys, when bred and imprinted, they hit like tanks. Plus, they are omnivorous, which is really wicked awesome. Yeah. Oh, no, you don't, Pego. Yeah. But these guys, they are wicked tanky. They can dish out a beating, and you get their saddles at level 52. 100 submitting pace, so you are going to have to hit up a beaver dam if you haven't been hitting up beaver dams. 130 fiber, 325 hide, 55 metal ingot, plus these guys gather fiber, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. You can put away the Mo shops now because you have a new fiber gatherer. You don't gather as much fiber, but you have a good fiber gatherer, which is wicked awesome and amazing. Now these guys, you will find them in the snow. You will find them around and in and around the redwoods. And yeah, these guys, I recommend a taming pen with these guys because they can be a bit finicky. You can totally tame them without a pen, but I recommend a pen just because, oh no, and what's beating up my base? Let's go see what's beating up my base. A dillo. Beating up my mammoth. Whoa! Almost killed my mammoth. What the heck? Okay. All of you guys are on neutral. Okay. Interrupting the video. Thank you. Man, I almost lost. And that's my good mammoth too. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, you're coming with. Yeah, I don't want to lose this mammoth, so apparently. Seriously? I do not want to lose this mammoth, so she's coming with us over here, even though she's more of an early game. Because she's not a level 40, and of course we have seagulls over here now. Yeah, but yeah, Megatherium, they can dish out a beating. They are pretty dang good at doing so. So yeah, I highly recommend getting yourself a Megatherium as soon as you can. However, another thing that is really important, our next creature that is really important is something that can also be used in boss fights. And of course, our Megatherium. That's the one downside Megatherium is they tend to bounce around if they're on an uneven surface. So, yeah. But another boss fight worthy creature, which you can only find in the caves on the island, is the Megalosaurus. And Megalosaurus once bred and imprinted, are absolute beasts. Look at Champ. Look at this guy. He is absolutely incredible. I mean, you've ever... Look at that. 908 on a non-mate boosted creature. This guy's a beast. But yeah, Megalosaurus, you can only find them in caves. I recommend once you go caving, use a Baryonyx to get this guy. Check the Cave of the Hunter first. That's the one I recommend first. If you don't have luck there, then check the I believe Cave of the Clever or Cave of the Massive. Those two. The caves with the Broodmother artifacts are the ones I've had the best of luck with finding these guys. And the Cave of the Hunter is actually a really good one. I recommend that one the most. But yeah, these guys, they are beast if you level them well. Now, normally these guys are asleep during the day, but I have the S Plus saddle, or not the S Plus, but the Megalosaurus mod on this because this is my single player that I'm making this video on. So these guys, they do not fall asleep when they have their saddle on, but normally during the day, they're asleep, and this is what they look like when they're asleep. And you'll see them in the caves. Now, if they're asleep, and you wake them up... Here. Wake up. They're going to have sleep debt. And once that runs out... Or once that runs out, they're going to fall back asleep. So, but if you have the no sleep saddle on them, you don't have to worry about that. But if you want to play mod free, they are going to have sleep debt. So if you are going to take these guys into an arena to do a boss fight, you have to do it at night. Get them all around the obelisk. As soon as they all wake up, put the tributes in for the boss, go to the arena, and then just waste it. These guys are absolute beasts. But yeah, speaking of bosses, do you need a beat up creature to get healed? Look no further than the Daeodon. Daeodons are absolutely amazing. And this one is a tank. Porky Porker here may not be hitting that hard, but he sure can do quite a bit. He's a decent berry gatherer. He's not the best, but he can very, very quickly heal up anything that has been beaten up. So, enable passive healing. And they're going to be consuming a lot of food to do this. So, it's usually the meat that they're going to be consuming. So, it's going to drain their food very significantly. But yeah, anything that's injured that receives this passive healing is just going to start healing much more rapidly. See how fast Barry May's healing up from that Dillo attack? I cannot believe I almost lost a 245 mammoth to a Dillo. Yeah. That should be good for now. Yeah. But Daeodons, let's see. Berries, let's drop those. Yeah. We can drop that. We'll keep all the rest of that. They go through so much food. The only downside of Daeodons, keep them away from your feeding trough, because they will go through everything in your feeding trough. So, the downside is that you constantly have to keep their personal inventory full with food. Just absolutely full with food. And they will just completely go through all of it so fast. You will not believe how insanely fast they will go through all of that food. It's just absolutely insane, which is why I'm killing everything to fill up his food, because we used passive healing on the mammoth. But yeah, Daeodons, their saddles you will find, or the Megalosaurus. I never covered the Megalosaurus, I think. Level 57, 170 fiber, 320 hide, 30 metal ingot. Daeodon is level 59, 155 fiber, 290 hide, 20 metal ingot. Not too bad for level 59. And these guys, you can only find them in the snow biome on the island. So yeah, these guys, they can be kind of tough, and until you get them isolated from other Daeodons, yeah, now these guys, yeah, they can be tough, especially because they have so much torpor. Look how much torpor he has, over 13,000 torpor. These guys can be hard to knock out, plus you can easily kill them with a crossbow. So I highly recommend do not knock these guys out with anything anything less than a long neck. Wait for those trank darts. Yeah, definitely wait for those trank darts. Yeah. But, moving on from the Daeodon, the next one I highly recommend, you have to go back to the beaches for this one, and that is the Chalicotherium. Now, the Chalicotherium, you can do quite a bit of things. Now, this is normally not what they look like, but I have a event going on. But these guys, they are so good at gathering berries. They don't gather fiber, but they are so good at gathering berries. And I love their special attack. Their rock toss. But everyone says when you get snared with the rock toss, it looks like you got smothered with poop. So that's why these guys have been dubbed poop cows. Which I think is absolutely hilarious. I just call them calicos, but yeah. But yeah, look at how many berries they gather. And so quickly as well. Yeah, but Chalicotheriums, they are tricky tames. They are passive tames. And they only tame up with two things. Stem berries or beer. If you tame them with stem berries, their stats are going to be atrocious. So you need to wait for the beer. So you need a beer barrel, which is level 36. Beer takes a long time to craft. Because beer, you cannot craft it. You just have to put in a bunch of thatch and a bunch of berries and just wait for it. Yeah, you cannot. It's not like one of the Rockwell recipes where you throw a bunch of stuff in a cooking pot and instantly cook it. You have to wait for the beer, and the beer can take several, not several ARK hours, but several real life hours. I think it takes 5 or 6 per beer. But once you have enough beer, which each Chalicotherium, I think, or at least on my settings, takes 4 beer. Takes about 4 beer to tame up. You can get their saddles at level 42, 180 fiber, 265 hide, 45 metal ingots. Not that bad. And these guys, they can be powerhouses if you level them up right. I mean, look at this guy, almost 10k health, 380 melee, which has not been leveled. Now this guy is imprinted, so do take that into effect. This guy is imprinted. But yeah, Chalicotheriums, they can be good. I've seen them used in boss fights. I've actually seen a video of these guys taking on the Overseer and winning. They don't move that fast, so it took a long time. But overall, at the end of that video, they ended up beating the Overseer, which was pretty dang cool to see that. And I'm thinking, I'm not gonna try that, but I'm thinking that would be pretty cool to try. But yeah, now we're gonna move back to the Redwoods, and we're gonna move to the giant of the Redwoods, the Paraceratherium, or the Paracera. And these things do so much damage in such little time, and they are amazing at gathering berries. They are amazing at gathering thatch. Not as good as the Megaloceros. It may look better than the Megaloceros, but it's actually not as good. But these guys, the reason I'm highlighting these guys is because of just how big they are. They can deal a bunch of damage. These guys can easily protect you from a bunch of things. Rexes, Spinos, they can easily protect you from those. You can build a platform saddle on the back of these. If you've been watching my Season 3, you've seen I have a mini base set up on one of the wild Paraceras I tamed. And these guys, they're really cool. I really like them. I don't use them that often, but they are. I can easily argue they would be one of my preferred giant mounts. And if you could take them into a boss fight, that would be even better. But you can't. So that's their downside. But Paracera saddle 41 or 50, depending if you want the regular platform. 41, really cheap. 110 fiber. 200 hide, 10 metal ingots. That is super cheap for level 41. This is kind of pricey because it takes silica pearls for the platform saddle. You have 25 cementing paste, 200 fiber, 320 hide, 70 metal ingots, 45 silica pearls. So you need to either have an otter if you're going after that one, or you need to have an anglerfish and be diving to the bottom of the ocean. So yeah, and the otter would be easier, and you can also hit up beaver dams, but yeah. So that's that. But now we're going to talk about the last resident of the Redwood, or the last exclusive resident of the Redwood. Well, no, the second to last exclusive resident of the Redwoods I recommend, which is the dire bear. And dire bears, look at how fast this dude can move. Wait for it. Look at that. And these guys are absolutely amazing. They hit like tanks. They're omnivorous, so you can so they'll eat meat, they'll eat berries. Yeah, if you're taming them up, if you don't have kibble, use honey because they really like honey, and you have an immunity from being dismounted when you are attacked by bees, which is really, really awesome. Now the downside, compared to their melee, they have atrocious hit points. So that's why you really have to super breed these guys if you want to take them into a boss fight. But yeah, these are the second to last Redwood exclusive residents. And the last one I actually have here in a cryopod is Cinnamon Crunch Jr. The Thylacoleo, one of the absolute most amazing creatures in the game, because they can scale cliffs, they can pounce things, they have a bleed attack, and they can deal just so much damage in such a small amount of time, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, Thylas, they are absolutely amazing. They're not the best at caves. The cave of the Devourer is the cave for them, but the other caves, Baryonyx is the best. But yeah. Now, there's just so much to say on the Thyla. I could make a video all on its own about the Thyla. But instead, we're going to use Quick Flight, because we are running out of time on this video, and Quick Flight is the first of the two mid-game flyers I want to discuss, because Tapejaras are really good flyers. They are really skittish. They can be found all over the map. Let's get the bear following. And they are one of the fastest flyers on the island. They're not as fast as, say, they're not as fast as the Pteranodon, but they are a close second. They're not as fast as the Rhynionatha, but then again, Rhynionatha is not a mid-game tame. But these guys, they can see 3 people, and the passengers can equip weapons. Now, fortunately, the driver cannot equip any weapons, which is a downside of these guys. But the fact that you can maneuver like this, and you can even, on cliff faces, you can even hold on to the side of cliff faces just like a Thyla, which is pretty dang cool. But now, I want to start wrapping things up, and I want to wrap things up with the final creature, which is our beloved Missy. Now, I covered Tapejara Sound, probably did not. But they also have a tech saddle, which is really cool. Really expensive, but really cool. 180 fiber, 260 hide, 45 metal ingot, 120 wood for the regular saddle. Tech saddle, 140 black pearl, 370 crystal, 55 element, 2500 metal ingot, 500 polymer. Yeah. That's the Tapejara, but now we have the Argent, which is the highest on this list. It's level 62. It's 150 chitin, or keratin, or both, 185 fiber, 350 hide, and the cool thing about this saddle is you craft it in your inventory. And their saddle acts as a smithy, which is also really cool. Now it does have some limitations to it. I believe it cannot be used for repairing things. It can only be used for the initial craft. But yeah, I've had Missy with me for a long time, and she can pick up quite a few different things. However, they are going to aggro. But you can fight back. Now, unfortunately, you can't equip any weapons while you're on the back of her. But she is super helpful at getting Thylacoleo, because she can pick up Thylacoleo. All you have to do is get them off the tree. She can pick them up, carry them to a taming pen, and yeah, she can pick up a bunch of things. But starting at the... yeah, I think They can do Daeodons, they can do Thylas, they can do moose, they can do frogs, but I think that's about it. Anything bigger than that, they can't do. But they also have weight reduction on so many different materials. Stone, metal, crystal. Can't remember if they get it on flint. They don't get anything on thatcher wood or fiber or berries. Oil. Pearls. Black pearl. Don't quote me on the black pearls, but I think black pearls is on that list. But yeah, pretty much any resource that is really heavy, that is not organic, like thatch and wood and fiber, they have weight reduction on, which is really, really cool. But yeah, I think that's just about gonna do it for my favorite mid-game tames. Everything between level 40 and 65 with the exception of the moose, but since the moose is kind of challenging to get, that's why it's on this list and not the early game list. But hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. I am going to put timestamps in it. I should have probably said that at the beginning of the video, but I didn't know how long it would run. So yeah, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.